Hello again, my little conscripts, and welcome to another Mordian Glory video. In today's episode, I will be taking you through my competitive conscript horde army using the brand new Armies of the Soviet Union book. We've got waves of infantry, fleets of tanks, and a whole host of interesting characters and commanders to help fight the Great Patriotic War. And so without further ado, let's fix bayonets and oolera! Right into this thing. You there! Are you sick of languishing at home with nothing to do, wanking, eating expensive German biscuits and just generally wasting your life? Well, I have got the solution for you. Warlord Games is now the proud sponsor of the Mordian Glory channel, and they have given me an affiliate link. By clicking on that link down in the description below, you'll be able to get yourself some fantastic World War II bolt action miniatures. These finely detailed models are the perfect way of finding yourself a hobby that will finally get you out of the masturbatorum.
I'll make that deal. How about you? You make that deal?
I make that deal.
Damn good deal.
So what are you waiting for? Click on the affiliate link down below, support the channel, and get off the sofa. First things first, I want to say a massive thank you to Warlord Games for sending me a copy of the Armies of the Soviet Union book. It's thanks to this early copy that I have been able to peruse the rules, deep dive them, and build this army list, but not only that, actually take it to a tournament as well. In fact, the army list that you're looking at right now is one that I took to a local event, and it was really fun and it did pretty well. And I'll make sure there's a link to that tournament after action report down in the description below. So not only do you know what I took and the thoughts behind each unit and how it works with the new book, but you'll also be able to see it in action. But before we get into the army list and the units itself, I want to give you guys some quick context and thoughts behind the general vibe and idea of this army. So I've been playing Soviets since version 2, and I have been waiting with bated breath in Bolt Action Edition 3 to get the Armies of the Soviet Union book. And what I wanted to do with this list is try and show off quite a few of the unique special rules and some of the new unit options that we've got. But I also wanted to show off how some of the old classic Soviet playstyles could not only survive this book, but actually thrive with it. So I've really leaned into one of my favorite playstyles, which is the Conscript Horde. And of course, who doesn't love a load of T-34s? And I'm going to show you guys, hopefully, between this video and the Torn After Action Report, how this playstyle is actually really fun. It's not the only way to play Soviets. Of course, you can still build very elite dead hard armies if you want. But I know for myself and many other people who consider the Soviets, getting that Soviet horde going is just the best way to play. And like I said, with this new book, you really can do that. You've got so many more tools to play with and new special rules that really just help the horde do its thing. But without further ado, let's now get into the meat and potatoes of this video. I know what you guys are really here for. Let's take a look at the list and the units. And it seems only right to begin with the Infantry Corps. Because every day in the Corps is like a day on the farm. Every meal a banquet, every paycheck a fortune, every formation a parade. I love the Corps. This is my rifle platoon, and I have taken not one, not two, but 4 units of Soviet riflemen. Every single man in this squad is inexperienced. Everyone has got a rifle, and they are all green. Now, considering that most bolt action armies will have between 20 and 30 infantry, and sometimes that's including weapon teams as well, the fact that I've got 48 infantry is a very sizable horde in this game. And I will be able to overwhelm more elite enemy formations through sheer numbers. The most common squad size that I tend to encounter in this game is 6 or 7 man squads, and each one of my units is going to be double that size. Typically I come across 2 6-man squads like an LMG and maybe a 7-man squad with some SMGs and assault rifles. In every single way, I'm going to be outnumbering my opponent's own rifle platoon. But not only do the bricks of conscripts themselves have a lot of meat behind them, have a lot of bodies to be able to throw forward. But I've also taken some very chonky command squads. Personally, I really like this. Firstly, I think that officers should have a command squad with them. Maybe that's my 40k Imperial Guard brain speaking, but I like officers with command squads in attendance. Secondly, I think not only does it look a bit better, but it also means that the squad can actually do something in the game. Lone commanders running around are often a bit of a tax, but actually having a 5-man squad here is a real asset. It's 5 rifle shots, it is 5 attacks in close combat, and I've taken mine pretty cheap with just the officer with a pistol and 4 riflemen, but you could really make a decent assault unit out of this, especially the Soviets, if you went for 4 SMGs. And as crazy as it sounds, I would be really tempted to take this as inexperienced 5-man squad with 5 SMGs in it. Yeah, they're inexperienced, so they're going to die, but the leadership's not going to be a problem because the officer's going to be boosting himself and his unit, and they're not going to worry so much about moving and shooting because they're going to have assault weapons. And it really does mean that this little squad right here is putting out 10 shots. Put that in some kind of like cheap truck, maybe like a Studebaker or something like that, and you could have this plus another assault unit, and it would make for a lot of DACA for a cheap price point. So I think there's definitely something to these bigger squads, and especially as a Soviet player, you can really just cram more bodies into your rifle platoon, which is what I am all about. I've also taken a 5-man Commissar squad. And again, Commissars used to be max 3. You typically only saw them with like on their own running around. But now you can take them in a squad of 5. I think it makes the Commissars a real unit, a real asset. They can actually do stuff. Now, with my particular command squad, I have gone as WYSIWYG as possible. So I've got a Commissar with a pistol, and then I've got 3 just attendants with rifles, and then I have gone for the victory flag. Now, this is one of the new pieces of equipment that you can take in the armies of the Soviet Union. And it's very, very interesting. I really like it. So it means that every infantry and artillery unit that is within 12 inches and line of sight of the victory flag gets +1 to their morale. Now, there's a variety of units that can take the victory flag. You don't have to put it on the Commissar, but I wanted to put it on a Commissar because I think this is a really nice, nifty little combo. I think this is one that could become a go-to for a lot of Soviet players because it kind of makes the Commissar into a pseudo platoon command squad. Because think about it. This guy is going to be putting out +2 morale within 6 inches, and obviously he can also do snap 2s, but then this guy is going to be putting out +1 morale within 12 inches, and also because he's a Commissar, you can take advantage of the not one step backwards army special rule to re-roll those orders, and of course you can absolutely stack both of these, which means that on your Conscript Horde you could be getting +3 morale. And if your Commissar is in range, he could also be giving out re-roll order tests. This is really cool. Now, I'm not sure if you can put it on the command squad. I'd have to double check. But I personally like having it spread out. A, not as many eggs in one basket. And B, I think it makes the Commissar just that little bit more flexible. So having these two work together actually provides great motivation and really big force multipliers for the Soviet Horde. I mean, it actually pairs very nicely with one of the other army special rules that I haven't even talked about yet, which is for the motherland. If you have an inexperienced unit, well, all of these guys are inexperienced, so the officer and the Commissar would also benefit from this. But if you have an inexperienced unit within 12 inches of the enemy, then you get to roll a dice, and on a 4+, you can remove 1 pin. Now, think about that for a moment. You could have a inexperienced unit with a pin on it, a pin or 2 or 3 on it, and then you could give it +3 to its morale. On a 4+, it could remove 1 of those pins. So let's say you go down from like 3 pins down to 2 pins. Now, normally that would mean that your conscript would still only be leadership like 6, and that's not great. But Then you get to add the +3, making them leadership 9 with a reroll from the Commissar. And suddenly, when you get to 3 pins, that's not, oh, better start rallying. That's a no. I can still absolutely get my guys to do what I want them to do. It's a really nice stacking, a really nice layering of the special rules. And that's what I think the Soviets do so well. Individually, the rules don't look that great. They look fine. Not great, not terrible, 3.6. And individually, their units look fairly mid as well. But when you start taking those units and layering on these special rules and actually leveraging the multiple things that you can do, you can take the humble Soviet conscript and actually make him something your opponent needs to respect. And it's also important to note that these +3 morale modifiers are also going to pair nicely with one of the other army special rules that you have, the Great Patriotic War, which whenever one of your units is going to take a morale check which would cause it to be destroyed, aka you've lost half of the squad to like enemy shooting or something, then you can re-roll it. Now again, if you've ended up taking like 3 pins from some enemy shooting and it's looking pretty dicey, if you didn't have these guys stacking up helping you out and you didn't have that special rule, then you'd be on like leadership 5, basically guaranteed to run for the hills. But add your +3 back on, thanks to the officer and the victory flag. Combine that with Great Patriotic War, and you'd be on leadership 8 rerollable, which is eminently passable. Again, you can make something like a basic inexperienced soldier with a rifle actually do so much on the battlefield. And spoiler alert for the after action report, but at no point did my Soviet conscripts break, and every single game when they were destroyed, they had to be wiped out to a man. So you can really get those Soviet conscripts to not only do as they're told, but also fight to the death. And to me, that just feels so right when it comes to the Soviet Union and the Eastern Front. It was a brutal, bloody battle. It was a war of survival for the Soviet Union, and it was only through the dogged and grim determination of the humble Soviet infantrymen that they were able to prevail in the end. So I really think that the Armies of the Soviet Union book has done a very, very good job of getting the feel, of getting the vibe right for the Soviet Horde. I want to take a moment though to reiterate something. I do not believe this is the only way you can play this army. I think if you are someone that likes dead hard veteran armies, you will be well served by this book as well. What I'm saying is that the Soviet Horde, something that was always a bit of a meme in previous editions, is actually something that feels a bit like a dream. And it feels like not only can you play veteran Soviets, but you can also finally play Horde Soviets the way it was always meant to be. And let me tell you, this is one way I'm looking forward to playing Soviets, but I guarantee you I am going to be building up an elite, dead hard veteran Soviet force as well in the future. I'm looking forward to seeing how the book supports that too. So of course the infantry corps is my favorite bit and is the main part of this list, but we do have some other bits and bobs in this list. We've got 2 more platoons, so I'll have a quick look at those as well. So we've got a heavy weapons platoon, a couple of medium mortars and a spotter, and we've also got an inexperienced platoon commander with a pistol. Full disclosure, I had bot action is not my primary game, so I don't always remember everything from like FAQs and stuff, and I took one spotter because last time I played, one spotter could spot from multiple mortars. It turns out that has been FAQ'd and is a little bit of a mistake in this list. So both mortars ideally should have a spotter, but I didn't have that in the tournament. If I were to afford the spotter for the second mortar, what I would probably do is maybe drop one person from one of the command squads and the SMG on the victory banner, and that would get me the 11 points that I would need in order to be able to get the other spotter. But to be honest, I didn't really feel a problem with having with not having the spotter. And what's kind of interesting is all I did is just put the guy without the spotter, backline him, and just have him just draw line of sight naturally, and it wasn't a problem at all. I've always played it where it feels like spotters are mandatory, but after this event, I was actually like, you know what, maybe I don't need any spotters. So as crazy as it sounds, I might end up dropping this spotter, saving myself 10 points, just raw dogging it with the medium mortars, and using the 10 points there to maybe get some equipment on these guys. Maybe an SMG for this guy, SMG for this guy, and maybe a rifle for this guy. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't really feel like I missed having these spotters for the mortars. But there's no real special rules associated with these units. I just took the medium mortars because it's always good to have some indirect fire HE. And in pretty much every game that I play about action, I never leave home without my heavy weapon platoon of a couple of medium mortars. They always just do what I need them to do. Really solid unit, really solid platoon, no complaints, and they performed well throughout the entire event. Last but certainly not least, we have got the Armoured Fist of the Soviet Union, the Armoured Platoon with not one, not two, but 3 T-34-85s. Each one armed with a heavy anti-tank gun and a coaxial medium machine gun and a hull-mounted forward-facing medium machine gun as well. I love the T-34. I think it is one of the most iconic tank designs ever created, and I think that you can't run a Soviet army without at least one of them. I do like the T-34-76, but I have to say that I prefer the T-34-85 because it's got a bigger gun, and big guns are the best. Also, quick side note, this kit from Warlord is unbelievably easy to build. I mean, I'm not even kidding you. Took me about 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes to build each tank. You could probably build and paint this entire armored platoon in a lazy Sunday afternoon. The kit is fantastic. Can't recommend it enough. I mean, put it this way. I've got 4 T-34-85s in my collection. I'm looking to get more for a big narrative Kursk battle that I'll be doing early next year. But all of that's a bit of a tangent. Let's get into the reason why these vehicles are here. And it's not just for the fact they're iconic. They also do have a tactical use in my list. They are my primary source of anti-tank. Each one has got a heavy anti-tank gun, which is going to give me quite a lot of punch. And don't forget, they also have a pretty good HE value as well, thanks to them being heavy anti-tank guns. Just mobile, tough, firepower, can't go wrong with it. One thing that is worth mentioning though, and I do think will become an auto-include for most Soviet players because squeezing every point is so valuable, is my tank commander, this one here with the yellow writing. He is taking advantage of the lack of radios army special rule. So this looks a bit like a debuff, but I actually think it is a massive buff. You can, when paying for a command vehicle, normally it's 10 points to turn one of your tanks into a commander, and it's mandatory you have to have one in the platoon. But the Soviets can take a command vehicle for free. But if you do, that command vehicle only has a 6-inch radius for its leadership and snap 2 values. So instead of having the big sort of 12-inch bubble which allows you to spread your tanks out, he's only got sort of 6 inches, which does mean that the tanks do have to stay pretty close together. But you save 10 points. Now I'm sure it's going to be a point of some debate on whether it's worth spending the 10 points to have the tanks more spread out. But for me, I'm a Horde guy. I'm a yield guy. I will happily save those 10 points every single time if it allows me to squeeze in an extra infantry model or an extra bit of equipment on my officers. And I will say this, I did not miss having a radio in my tournament. It was funny, I actually did play against someone who had 2 Cromwells, and I really noticed they had the 12-inch thing, and it made me go, whew, it is quite nice being able to have a radio. But I had no issue just playing around my lack of radios. But you know what? I think that just about covers it. In total, we have got 66 infantry models, including officers and weapon teams, and we have got 3 armoured vehicles, 3 medium tanks. A proper Soviet Horde consisting of lots of iconic units. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What do you think of the new Armies of the Soviet Union book? What special rules are you most interested in? And which units do you think are going to pair really nicely with this new book? If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to never miss an episode. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian glory hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Redfield, 32, Jurgens, Miasma, Try Again, Bragg, R.J., Scorpion, Bonbon Vert, Lord Pryor, Nicholas Walsh, John Stubbs, Guardian, Varney, Sword, Fish Trombone, Picklock the Forged. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, I'll see you guys next time.